Hi, everyone. Welcome or welcome back if you're returning. Either way, I appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me that you come and watch my journey with me. And let's just get into it. The theme of today's video is it's been 1 year exactly. Well, not exactly, but 1 year that I've been on Zepbound. Uh, it's actually been 53 weeks because my 1 year date was June 19th of 2025. That was the day I started taking Zepbound. So I'm a little late, but I wasn't feeling well, so I'm gonna give myself some allowance in that. Um, so I do have some notes. I just wanted to kind of go over a quick recap. I'm not going to go in serious depth. I'm not going to go, I never tracked how many pounds I lost or how many inches I lost during each titration or any of that. It's just going to go over the weeks and maybe some symptoms that I had. So here are my notes. So I started at 2.5 on June 19th, 2025. And I was on that for 4 weeks. And the first thing I noticed was immediately the morning after my shot, I poured some sugar-free vanilla creamer into my coffee, and I was like, it was just too sweet, too much, too oily, and I actually had to pour that cup of coffee out, which sad. Love coffee. Um, so immediately I started having taste bud changes. Are you going to do it? Are we going to be safe? That's right. Lay in the yellow chair. Okay, sorry about that. So immediately I had taste bud changes. I didn't have sulfur burps or nausea or any of that. It was just some taste bud changes first thing, and it happened very quick. The other thing that happened with 2.5 was, whoa, my brain got quiet. I did not realize that I had food noise until there was no food noise. It got so quiet and so calm in my mind. It was like suddenly I had room for other things, you know, and I could focus on books and movies and conversations and just be all present. So I was on that for 4 weeks and had no issues. Maybe mild constipation, but I'm a very constipated person anyway. I usually only go like twice a week, if that, which maybe that's TMI, but I'm not a daily dumper. I'm so sorry. I'm, yeah. So for 5 weeks, 4 weeks, excuse me. Then I went on 5.0 and I was on that for 4 weeks. And the 5.0, I got some sulfur burps, which didn't bother me because they weren't that severe. They were just sort of burps that tasted a little different. They didn't taste like heavily sulfurous, which I'm very grateful for. And I did get some more severe constipation with that. Um, and I went through this one particular period where I was fighting it, and I tried, okay, I don't know what's going on there. I tried, you know, drinking a lot of water. I was waiting for fiber gummies. Well, actually, I didn't have fiber gummies at that time. It was Benefiber. I was waiting for Benefiber to kick in. Um, Drinking a ton of water and like really trying to make things go. I got a little bit of Miralax, and I didn't open that yet because I got so desperate. I asked a friend to pick up some magnesium citrate because I'd had an experience in the hospital where they sent me home. They're like, here, take this, and as directed. And it worked like that. And I was cleaned out. And it was just a 10-ounce bottle. And I know you can buy those OTC. So the friend brought me that, and I took it and followed it according to instructions. Sorry, my mom, God rest her soul, her boyfriend, when she was alive, he used to always call it destructions. Like, let's read the destructions. So, oh, that really affected the lighting. Um, I drank it and ended up really sick. And it was, and I actually made a video about it called the cure is worse than the problem, something like that. And I will link that in the description because it is one of my earliest videos. So it may not come up in the algorithm, or, I mean, my channel is very small. It's not going to come up in the algorithm to begin with. Um, but it is one of my earliest videos. So I'll link that in the description below. And it's not very long. It's just me talking about how I got sick and was very constipated. After that, I focused on water a lot and Benefiber, and that really helped. And then when I had a problem, I took a dose of Miralax, and usually within 24 hours, I was fine. So, problem solved. These days, I rely on plenty of water. I have fiber gummies with B complex in them. I'm not sure how that works out, but the fiber gummies have really helped. And if I have a problem, I take a dose of Miralax. So I was on the 5.0 dose for 4 weeks, and then I moved up. I was ready to move up. 2.5, I lost a few pounds, nothing major, like 4 or 5 pounds. So it wasn't huge. Same with the 5.0. I lost like maybe 5 or 6 pounds. It was nothing huge. My average comes out to 1 pound a week. So I was on 7.5. And on 7.5, I started having a little bit of indigestion at night, usually in the 36 hours or 48 hours after my shot. I would have some indigestion, mainly at night, and I would have a few sulfur burps, but nothing major. I didn't have any constipation. I've never in the entire time, this entire year, I haven't had any nausea. I haven't had any diarrhea. I haven't had any vomiting except for the night magnesium citrate to try and cure my constipation. And I stayed on 7.5 for 3 months. I was on it for 12 weeks. I didn't have any major problems. When I first started it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And my body really adjusted to it. And I kept losing, but again, I didn't keep track. And I knew I was losing a little bit of weight, but it didn't seem super obvious to me. I was like, oh, 20 pounds or something. Like I got to that point. Then I moved up to 10.0 when I was having zero symptoms and my body was completely adjusted, and I was starting to have a lot of food noise and my suppression was going down. Like I wasn't having enough suppression. I was really hungry all the time. So then I moved up to 10. I was on that for 12 weeks. And again, when I started 10, I didn't have any side effects. I had a little bit of indigestion, but that went away after like the second shot. I didn't have the sulfur burps. I didn't have any nausea, vomiting, any of that. I have been very, very blessed. I was on the 10.0 for 12 weeks. And when I started that, I was like, holy monkeys, 10 is awesome. And it really was. Pardon me. 10 was awesome for a while. I'm having my afternoon cup of coffee. 10 was awesome for a while, and then eventually my body adjusted and I got with my primary and we decided it was time to move up to 12.5. And through all of this, moving up from 5 to 7.5 and then from 7.5 to 10 and then from 10 to 12.5, every time I ended up having to get a prior off. So my doctor has been a real champion throughout all of this. I'm really grateful for how hard he works with the insurance companies to make sure I get my coverage. Because I could not afford these on my own. I live on disability. That's my only source of income. And so my annual income is like $17,000 a year. Um, it's nothing. People who live on disability, we're not living it up. Um, we have to be very careful about our budgets. And if you make too much money, you lose your disability. Like if this channel got monetized, and let's say I got a $200 check at some point, even if it was just a one-off, one-time occurrence, they'd be like, oh, you have another source of income. You don't need disability. So that is one of the reasons I'm not seeking monetization on this channel. Then I moved up to 12.5, back to the subject at hand. And moving up to 12.5, I didn't really feel any difference. I was like, this is exactly like 10. A lot of people were like, oh, moving up from 10 to 12.5, that's a whole different ball game. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. To me, it felt exactly the same as 10. I had zero side effects. And my suppression feelings and satiety feelings, they all felt the same as when I was on 10. The 12.5 and the 10 felt the same. I was on the 12.5 for 12 weeks, so 3 months again. And if you'll excuse me, I'm just going to pause this for a second. I need to get a drink of water. Okay, so from the 12.5, from the 12 weeks out, I moved up to 15. So I am on 15 milligrams. I have been for a few weeks. I think I'm on like my second box of it, my second box, first pen of the second box, something like that. It's been a total of 53 weeks and 6 days since I started. I believe that's what um, the dates calculator online said. Although when I first plugged it into Google online, the AI summary came back 1,547 weeks. And I was like, excuse you? Like, I'm not the brightest bulb on the tree, but even I know that's not correct. So I went to an actual dates calendar. So don't always trust AI, double check your work. So, give you a little summary. I am 5'2" for those of you who don't know or don't remember from my first video. I started at 207 pounds and a size 20, 22, like 20 on the bottom, 22 on top. And I am currently 164. Today I weighed in at 161, but I'm not sure how much I trust that. Water weight. I'm like, I don't think that's like that I lost fat, but I tend to be a bit of a skeptical person when it comes to my weight loss and my abilities. I tend to doubt myself. So we'll see. I am currently size 16, maybe 18, depends. Mostly size 16 on the bottom and size 18, 20 on top. So I have gone down a couple sizes. I carry all my weight in my belly, really. I used to have to wear bras with extenders because I was like, I had like a 50-inch bust and I'm down to like a 40-inch bust now. So I lost a lot of fat right there and on my back. But I'm still big back. I'm still the exact same shape I was when I started. And so I've got the jiggly arms. I've got a little bit of muscle, but it's not popping through. Yeah. My goal weight, I would love to see 129 just to see the twos, the 1 2s. I don't know how feasible that is. My goal weight is 130 though. And I don't know that will be manageable. The recent update is I'm taking my shot. Let's see. I took my shot Monday because I had to delay it a couple days for reasons. Usually Friday is my shot day, but I took it on Monday, so it's only been a few days. I'm going to take my shot this coming Monday, and then after that, I have 2 weeks where I have to skip it because I just turned 46. And as you know, when you're 45, you're due for a colonoscopy for a screening. I think we all know how I feel about magnesium citrate at this point. And Medicare is not going to cover a fancy, like more effective, smaller container, better tasting. They exist, but insurance just generally doesn't cover them. I've only seen it happen once. Um, and also, for those of you who don't know, I used to be a pharmacy technician. Man, I miss that job. But I'm blessed that things have worked out the way they have. And I've been blessed to have insurance covering my Zepbound. And they said the coverage will last for until June. They're like, mind you, the coverage will only last until June of 2028. So, God willing, I'll be covered for the next 2 years. 1, 2, yeah. Um, that's the update. You probably saw the short about the video that got ruined. That was just a quick demonstration of how I use a pedaled um, band with handles, like the kind you see on TikTok. And it was like just a short review, but I'll redo that at some point. Um, and then I do have a personal little challenge I'm going to do, but I'm going to discuss that in a different video. This is all the updates I believe that I have. And yeah, it's been a year. Can you believe it? Oh, I should tell you with the 15s, I have no symptoms except for side effects. I have no side effects except for a little bit of sulfur burps and which again aren't bothersome. They just, it's like, that's a little weird. And um, indigestion at night for the first 2 nights. I'm like a little, and coffee and indigested. And, I take some Tums and then I have more burps. And it's like, whoa, holy burps. Um, anyway, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. I really appreciate every like, every comment, and feel free to share this with your friends. Um, yeah, I just really appreciate all the interaction and appreciate people commenting. And again, it's not for monetization. I'm not like, get out here, interact with me. I need the money. It's really just because I really enjoy this community. I've made so many good friends. Um, it's really wonderful. And I don't think I could have done this alone. The people I've interacted with have really made this journey so much easier and more understandable. And I have not felt alone in this journey, even though no one in my life talks about weight or Zepbound or anything. No one ever says, hey, you lost weight. Really? Have you? You look different. Um, One person who hasn't seen me in like over a year was like, something's different. What are you up to? And I'm like, not cooking meth, if that's what you're implying. Um, I was like, oh, I just, I lost some weight. To date, I consider it 43 pounds lost. So 43 pounds in 56 weeks. Well, 55, 52 weeks, 53 weeks, 53. Oh my God. I've been saying 56 this whole time, you guys. Do not listen to me. Anyway, thank you for being here. I appreciate it if you made it this far. Thanks for watching. You have a great day.